Breathe in, slowly. 4 counts in. 7 counts hold. 8 counts out. Let the air drift away like sand through your fingers. You don't need to fall asleep. Just listen and let the story breathe for you. Tonight, we travel south along the ancient Nile to the land of Nubia. Here, the air is warm and dry, touched by the scent of clay and the hum of distant water. A single clay lamp flickers beside the riverbank, its flame dancing against the bronze night. Above, the desert star glows, steady, patient, watching over millennia of rise and fall. Long before the pyramids of Egypt shone under the sun, Nubia was already awake. Its people built kingdoms of gold and silence, carved temples from the stone of the earth, and sailed boats of reed where the desert met the river. The Nile was their breath, the sand, their memory, and between them, the story of humanity found its rhythm. Let your eyes soften as you imagine the horizon fading to indigo. The wind carries whispers of drums and chants that once echoed through Meroe. Each sound now only a trace, a hush, like the tide of time itself. In this story, there are no battles to fight, no empires to conquer. Only the quiet movement of civilizations drifting into sleep. The Nubian Kingdom rose from riverlight, gleamed in gold, and slowly sank beneath the dunes, not lost, but resting. Breathe again, in and out. Let the night wrap around you like linen. Somewhere in the distance, the clay lamp still burns, and high above, the desert star still shines, waiting to return when the story ends. The night begins to soften. A faint shimmer touches the horizon. Not yet sunrise, not yet day. Somewhere beyond the dunes, the Nile exhales. Mist drifts low, and the first light of Nubia slides across the sleeping sand. The clay lamp by the river still burns, though its flame is smaller now. Its glow trembles against the calm water, like a memory refusing to fade. Above it, the desert star glows pale in the paling sky, the last sentinel of night. They are the same 2 lights that have watched over this land for thousands of years. A flame of men and a star of gods. Breathe in. The air here smells of stone and quiet water. Breathe out. Let your shoulders rest. The desert will hold you now. When the first Nubian wanderers came here, they found a land caught between silence and song. A ribbon of water threading through endless ochre dunes. It was here they built their first fires and marked the sand with footprints that time would later turn to myth. They learned that life clung to the Nile's edge. Each morning, the river spilled light over its banks, bringing with it soil dark as night and fertile as sleep. They planted barley, flax, and sorghum. They fished by moonlight and listened to the hum of unseen insects hidden in the reeds. At night, the elders spoke of the river as a living spirit, a god who wandered, dreamed, and remembered. The water, they said, was the breath of the world, and every dawn, when the desert star vanished into daylight, that breath began again. In the stillness, imagine standing on that ancient shore. The air is cool against your skin. The sand shifts gently under your feet. Far away, a heron crosses the light, its wings like paper folded by the wind. No noise, only the slow rhythm of the earth awakening. You may notice how time feels different here. It moves like the river, unhurried, patient. No hour is wasted, even silence has weight. The Nubians believed that to rush was to offend the river. To live, one must move as the current does, steadily, with grace, never forcing the flow. Let that idea settle in your chest. Breathe with it. Inhale as the Nile rises. Exhale as it falls. You are floating with civilizations that once called this peace their home. As centuries drifted forward, villages grew along the water's curve. Clay homes shimmered in the heat, and the air filled with the smell of baked earth and lotus smoke. Children played near the reeds, their laughter soft as ripples against the hulls of wooden boats. The elders watched and smiled, their eyes reflecting the same river they had seen since childhood. The Nubians learned to carve stone, first for tools, then for gods, and finally for beauty. They etched patterns of spirals and waves, imitating the river's dance, believing that to carve water into stone was to capture eternity in silence. As the sun climbed higher, the clay lamp faded, its work complete. But the warmth it left lingered in the air, a reminder that even the smallest flame can keep the darkness company through the longest night. Now, the river glows like liquid gold. The dunes hum under the morning breeze, and in the distance, a single bird calls, a soft, descending tone, like a sigh carried across centuries. Let that sound guide your breathing. In, out, the same rhythm that shaped the Nile, moves quietly within you. Every civilization begins with a breath. Every dawn is a beginning. And though the world may change 1,000 times, the desert star will still find its place in the morning sky, a whisper of memory, watching over the first light of Nubia. The river hums beneath a blanket of morning light. It is wide here, calm, endless, alive. The Nubians once said the Nile was not only water, but the slow pulse of the earth itself. Stand beside it now, in your mind. The air smells of wet clay and papyrus. The wind glides across the surface like silk. Each ripple carries a reflection of the sky. 1,000 tiny mirrors drifting toward forever. Breathe with the current. In. Feel your chest widen, shoulders open like sails. Out. Let your arms grow heavy and warm. The wind moves with you, touching the same rhythm that once stirred the reeds of ancient Nubia. Here, everything begins with patience. The people woke before dawn, listening to the soft lap of water against their boats. They spoke little in the mornings. Words would come later. For now, the river did the talking. The Nile gave them everything. Fish that glimmered silver in the half-light. Fields of grain that rippled like the desert wind. And routes to lands they would one day trade with. Egypt, Kush, Punt. Each bend in the river was a story. Each island a resting place for gods. They learned to move as the current moves. Never in haste, never against it. If storms came, they waited. If floods rose, they watched and learned. From this stillness grew wisdom deeper than stone. Close your eyes for a moment. You can almost feel the weight of the sun on your skin. The river's edge gleams like bronze. Somewhere nearby, A woman fills a clay jar, her hands steady, her bracelets chiming softly. A child laughs as a fish slips from his grasp. A sound bright as a bell, gone before it can echo. The wind changes. It slides across the sand, whispering through dry grass. This is your nature anchor, the wind that breathes across centuries. It touches your shoulders, blows down your arms like water poured from the heavens. Let that feeling linger. Your shoulders loosen. Your arms rest along your sides. Weightless, warm, safe. Each breath draws you deeper into the rhythm of Nubia, the rhythm of water and sand. As day turns slow and gold, you see boats drifting past. Long, narrow vessels of wood and rope. Their sails patched but proud. They carry baskets of grain, ivory, incense, and stories. One boatman hums an old tune, a melody so ancient even he does not know its meaning. It sounds like sunlight on moving water. The river, generous yet unpredictable, became both mother and test. Too little rain meant hunger. Too much meant ruin. But the Nubians did not fight the river. They listened to it. They marked its moods with stones, measured its rise with the patience of prayer. When the floods returned, they greeted them not with fear, but gratitude. And at night, when the waters turned to glass, the desert star appeared again above them. They called it the Watcher, the one that remembers what men forget. The star, they believed, followed the Nile's path through the heavens, a river of light mirroring the one below. Now, let that image drift inside your mind. The two rivers, one of water, one of stars, flow together in silence. Their meeting is peace. Their stillness, sleep. The Nubians knew this truth without words. That balance is not stillness, but movement so gentle it feels like rest. Listen. The wind sighs again through the reeds. The current brushes against stone. It sounds like breathing. It sounds like you. Breathe in. Your shoulders lift slightly. Air fills your lungs like light. Breathe out. Your arms sink deeper into calm. You are part of the Nile now. Patient, ancient, unbroken. As the sun melts into evening, the sky turns a soft amber, then violet. Birds circle above the water, their wings glowing faintly in the dusk. Somewhere far downstream, a lamp flickers again, the clay lamp, calling night back to the Nubian shore. The river keeps flowing, the sand keeps shifting, and time, like all things here, moves only as fast as your next breath. Night has returned to the river, but it is not the same night as before. The moon rises higher, and the dunes glow with a faint silver that never seems to fade. Somewhere beyond the bend of the Nile, the city of Meroe breathes. Imagine approaching it through the hush of desert air. Torches line the road, small flames, each swaying like a heartbeat in the wind. The scent of resin and smoke mixes with the coolness of sand. Your steps leave no sound. Even the air seems to listen. Here stand the walls of Meroe, built not from greed or conquest, but from a patient devotion to beauty. Every block of sandstone was carried by hand, lifted under the sun, and smoothed until it glowed beneath the moonlight. The walls hum softly, as if the stones themselves remember the songs of their builders. Breathe in and let the warmth of the torchlight settle into your chest. Breathe out and feel the quiet expand around you. The flame becomes your anchor now. Steady, golden, constant. Within the city, the streets wind like threads of gold. They lead to courtyards filled with statues. Faces calm and eyes half closed. Carved to look like they are dreaming. Women walk with water jars balanced on their heads. Their bracelets chime in like distant rain. Children chase each other between columns, where shadows ripple like silk. Meroe is a city of breath, alive, but never hurried. At dawn, smoke rises from hearths. At noon, it folds into silence. And by night, the temples open their doors to the stars. Priests light incense. Its spirals floating upward like ghostly rivers. They do not pray for power, but for balance between sand and water, fire and sky, body and soul. Let your own breath follow theirs, slow, even, kind. The Nubians believed that when a person's breath matched the rhythm of the flame, the gods would hear them more clearly. Try it now. Inhale. The flame grows. Exhale. It steadies. Every breath, a small offering of peace, far to the east of the city. A pyramid rises, smaller than those of Egypt, but older in its silence. Its angles catch the moonlight. Its shadows stretch in like a sleeping god across the sand. Inside rests a queen, her name lost, her presence eternal. The Nubians built these tombs not to boast, but to remember that even kings and queens must return to the river of stars. You walk closer, and the wind changes. It carries the low hum of drums, so soft it almost blends with your heartbeat. The people of Meroe are gathering, not for battle, not for power, but for the festival of fire. Every year, they light new lamps to thank the river for its patience. The city becomes a constellation of flickering lights, each flame like a heartbeat of the land itself. Some say the gods of Nubia descend for a single night, to walk among the glowing streets. Now listen, the air trembles. Flames crackle softly, not harsh, but rhythmic, like a lullaby. Every sound feels rounded, distant, kind. Your eyes grow heavy, your mind steady and warm. The priests raise their hands toward the sky. They whisper blessings over water, gold, and sand. A single line of light travels up the temple wall, then fades into the darkness of the heavens. The desert star watches. The clay lamp flickers by the gate. All of Meroe glows like a dream that has not yet ended. Let yourself drift here for a moment longer. Your body is still, but inside, the flame keeps moving, softly, quietly, endlessly. The night breathes again. The torches bend, the wind sighs, and one by one the lights begin to fade, not extinguished, but returning to the stars that gave them birth, somewhere beyond the dunes. The river murmurs in its sleep, and under the patient glow of the desert star, the walls of Meroe continue to whisper, stone to stone, flame to flame, century to century. The dawn returns, soft as silk brushed across bronze. Mist coils above the river, glowing with pale gold. And from within the walls of Meroe, the sound of quiet footsteps begins. Measured, graceful, steady. They are the Kandakes, the queens of Nubia. Rulers, warriors, mothers, dreamers. They move through the morning like constellations come to life. Their robes whispering against carved stone. Their crowns glinting with the dust of sunrise. The people bow not out of fear, but out of a reverent stillness. For these queens are more than rulers. They are the rhythm of the kingdom itself. Pause. Breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale gently. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let the breath drift out like a tide returning to the sea. You are breathing with the Nile now. The queens of Nubia believed in harmony over haste. They ruled with patience. Their voices calm even in council. Their words carrying the weight of river stones. They were guardians of both war and peace, and in their eyes there was no difference. Only balance. Candace Amanirenas, one of the greatest, stood before Rome itself, not as a conqueror, but as a protector of her people's quiet pride. She rode beside her soldiers beneath the blazing desert sun, her chariot's wheels cutting through dust and legend. Even the Romans, hardened by empire, whispered her name with respect. But tonight, in this dream, we remember not the battles, only her calm. Her voice carried like water through corridors of sandstone. Her eyes, still and endless, reflected both the clay lamp and the star above it. She was the mirror between earth and heaven, between the human and the divine. The age of queens was an age of breath. Under their guidance, the kingdom did not rise by force, but by rhythm. Trade blossomed. Temples expanded. The laughter of children echoed again through Meroa's courtyards. The river was generous, and the sands stayed kind. Let yourself feel that stillness, a calm so deep that it hums beneath your skin. Imagine walking through the temple courtyard, the scent of honey and oil in the air. Palm leaves rustle above you. A priestess pours water into a bowl, its ripples shimmering like light caught in glass. The sound is soft, a slow, circular song that pulls you closer to peace. Now breathe again. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. With every exhale, your heartbeat steadies, and the warmth of the day begins to fade into a gentle hum. The queens taught their people that time was not an enemy. It was a companion, a traveler that moved beside the Nile. Never rushing, never stopping, they built their wisdom into stone, inscribing prayers not for power, but for remembrance. Let those who come after us. One inscription reads, "Breathe as we breathed, slowly and without fear." The flame of the clay lamp flickers again. Though the night is far away, its light is the same one that burned beside the queens as they wrote their laws. As they looked toward the stars for counsel, the desert star, patient as always, waits above the horizon, ready to guide the kingdom when dusk returns. In this balance, Nubia found her golden peace, and you, listening now, can rest inside that same rhythm. No need to seek sleep. It will find you, as it found the queens of Meroe, in stillness, in breath, in quiet strength. Let the sound of the river settle behind your thoughts. Let the sand cool beneath your feet. And as the first wind of evening drifts across the land, you can almost hear their voices, soft and clear, carried through centuries. Do not rush the dawn. Even the stars must rest before they rise. Now breathe once more. In. 4. Hold. 7. Out. 8. The queens fade into starlight, and the kingdom of Nubia rests again, balanced, beautiful, unbroken. The afternoon drifts slowly across Nubia. The light thickens, heavy, golden, warm. It glides over temple walls, over the faces of carved gods, and turns the sand into a sea of burning amber, gold. It is everywhere now, in bracelets and crowns, in the dust that clings to the skin of merchants and priests. Even the air seems to shimmer with it. The kingdom of Meroe glows, as if the sun itself has chosen to rest here. And yet, beneath the brightness, a hush begins to form. The quiet before change. Breathe in. Let your chest open. Let your mind fill with light. Breathe out, and watch it fade to a softer hue. The desert star is invisible beneath the noon sky, but it is there, watching, patient, waiting for the gold to turn to dusk. Meroe thrives. Caravans arrive from every direction. From the Red Sea, the Sahara, the lands of the Nile Delta. They bring perfumes and cedar, iron and ivory, and leave with one treasure above all others: gold. The Nubians do not worship gold. They treat it as something that listens. Each piece, they say, holds the echo of the sun, a fragment of divine memory, a whisper of warmth that can never die. Artisans melt it into shapes of lions, of queens, of the moon and flame. Their hands move with reverence, their voices humming old hymns to the river. Gold is not wealth, it is rhythm, the way light flows through the kingdom, the way the heart beats beneath the skin. Pause now. Imagine standing in one of these workshops. The air trembles with heat. Molten light drips from the crucible, trickling like honey into carved molds. The sound is soft, a slow pulse, hiss, sigh, silence. In this glow, the Nubians see their future, shining, endless, serene, but deep within the hills. The mines grow quiet. The earth has begun to hold its breath. The veins of gold run thinner each year. And far to the north, another empire listens, its eyes narrowing with hunger. Still, the people of Nubia celebrate. At sunset, the river mirrors the sky, each wave a liquid mirror of fire. Children run through the courtyards with small lamps of clay, their laughter dancing in the dusk. Priests light torches, their flames reflected on golden statues, making them seem alive. This is the peak, the moment when everything gleams, when even silence seems gilded. But as the sky fades, the gold deepens to copper, and then to shadow. Breathe with the fading light. In, feel warmth spread through your hands. Out, let it soften into calm. You can feel the same pulse that once flowed through this kingdom. Bright, proud, but tender. For every civilization, there comes a sound that only few can hear. the whisper of endings. Not loud, not cruel, just a quiet shifting, like sand beginning to slide beneath its own weight. The elders sense it first. They speak less. They light more lamps. They tell the children to listen to the wind, for it carries both memory and warning. The clay lamp burns brighter now in the coming night, its small flame holding steady against the cooling air. It is not fighting the darkness, only keeping it company. As the last merchants depart, their boats heavy with gold, a hush falls over the river. The reflections on the water no longer dazzle. They ripple gently, like breath slowing at the edge of sleep. The Nubians will not know for centuries that the glow they saw was the final brightness before the fade. For now, they simply live, peaceful, proud, trusting that the light will return tomorrow, as it always has. Let that thought rest inside you. Not sorrow, not fear, only stillness. Because even when the gold dims, its warmth remains in the memory of things. Breathe in the light of the sun. Breathe out the calm of the sand. The river hums a quiet lullaby of molten amber and time. And somewhere beyond the horizon, beneath the watch of the desert star, the kingdom of Nubia glows once more, not in gold, but in peace. The gold has dimmed. The torches burn lower now, their smoke curling upward like tired prayers. The walls of Meroe, once singing with the hum of artisans, begin to echo only with wind. It moves through corridors where laughter once lived, slipping through open doorways, stirring the dust on temple floors. Each gust seems to whisper something half forgotten, the breath of time itself returning for what it left behind. Breathe with that wind. In, feel it glide along your spine, cool and light. Out, let it travel down through your chest, melting into your abdomen like warm water. Your back loosens, your stomach softens. The weight of centuries exhales through you. Outside, the river keeps flowing, but it no longer sings as before. Its banks are lower. The reeds bow their heads. The fishermen's boats drift slower, their oars cutting through silence instead of song. The people still rise with the sun, but their fields yield less each season. The rain visits later and leaves too soon. The Nile has changed its course, just a little, but enough to make the soil crack like old clay. Within the palace, the queens grow older. Their voices are softer now. Their steps measured not by ceremony, but by memory. They still light the clay lamp each evening, its flame trembling in the widening dark. The glow reflects in their eyes. Steady, but distant, as if looking back through time itself. The wind moves through the colonnades again. It hums across the stone carvings, touching faces that once saw glory. Sometimes it sounds like singing. Sometimes it sounds like breathing. And sometimes it sounds like nothing at all. Let your own breath join that stillness. Inhale slowly. The air drifts up your back. Exhale. It falls gently into your stomach. There is no rush here. No need to hold or grasp. Even decline can be gentle. Meroa does not fall in flame or fury. It fades like music slipping beyond hearing. The markets grow quiet. The caravans fewer. And the laughter of children turns to echoes in empty courtyards. Yet beauty remains. The sunsets are still magnificent. Deep copper sinking into violet. The desert star appears earlier each night. Its light softer, wiser. The river, though smaller, still carries reflections of both flame and moon. Some say the gods had not abandoned Nubia. They had only gone to sleep. And when a civilization sleeps, the wind becomes its lullaby. You can hear it now. It passes over broken rooftops, through hollow windows, and across the dunes where footsteps fade before dawn. The sound is slow, rhythmic, endless. It moves through you the same way it moves through ruins, not to destroy, but to remember. Breathe again. In, let the wind rise behind your ribs. Out, feel it drift down your abdomen. Every breath is a tide across ancient sand. Every exhale carries away what is no longer needed. The priests still light the evening incense, but the smoke climbs without direction. It curls, hesitates, and dissolves. The people watch quietly, not with despair, but with acceptance, knowing that even the gods grow silent sometimes. As night folds across the desert, the air cools, the lamps flicker. The clay lamp burns one final time in the queen's chamber, its small flame bending with the wind. She watches it, smiles faintly, and whispers something to the darkness, a prayer, or perhaps a farewell. No one remembers her words, but the wind does. It carries them across centuries, soft as breath, light as sleep. And when the first star rises, that faithful desert star, it seems to shimmer in reply. The cracks in the walls widen, but through them, the sky appears. 1,000 fragments of blue and silver, pouring through the broken stone. The ruins are no longer wounds. They are windows. Breathe once more. The wind enters your lungs, travels down your back, and rests in your center. What fades is not lost. It is only becoming quiet enough to dream. The dusk arrives gently, sliding down the dunes like silk poured from the heavens. The air is cool now, and the city of Meroa glows again, not in gold, but in memory. It is the night of the last festival. The people do not yet know this, and perhaps it is better that way, for tonight they gather as they always have. Around the temples, beneath banners of woven linen, their hearts light with song. Torches bloom along the streets. Their flames flicker in rhythmic unison, casting long shadows that sway like dancers. The drums begin, slow, steady, low. The sound rolls through the air like a heartbeat carried by wind. Breathe in. You can feel that rhythm beneath your ribs. Breathe out. It fades, soft but steady, like the river's pulse under the stars. Men bring baskets of figs and honey. Women lay garlands of papyrus and lotus upon the altar. Children run in circles, their laughter bright against the twilight. The smell of roasted grain drifts through the streets, earthy, sweet, comforting. Above them, the desert star glows brighter than usual, as if it knows this will be the last night. Its light will fall upon a living city, and yet nothing here feels like an ending. Only warmth, only stillness, only the peace of a civilization exhaling in its sleep. The queens sit together, wrapped in white linen. Their eyes reflect the torchlight. Small suns within the gathering dark. A priest raises a clay cup filled with wine and river water, offering it to the horizon. His words drift away in the wind, but his voice carries the tone of gratitude, not grief. May the river dream kindly, he says. May the wind remember our names. And then the music rises. Flutes, drums, soft hand claps echoing between stone walls. The people dance, their movements slow and fluid, like waves upon the Nile. No one rushes, no one speaks loudly. The rhythm is gentle, hypnotic, timeless. This is your nature anchor, the sound of distant drums. Let it echo softly through your thoughts, each beat slower than the one before, each pause longer, each silence deeper. The drums do not stop. They only fade until they become your own breathing. In the heart of the city, the priests light hundreds of small clay lamps. They line them along the temple steps, the courtyards, the rooftops. From above, it looks as if the stars have fallen to earth, tiny flickers of flame resting on stone. Breathe in. Feel the warmth of those lights spread through your chest. Breathe out. Let it drift into calm, as if the air itself has turned to gold dust. Children lie upon the sand, watching the lights tremble. Old men tell stories of gods who once walked the dunes, their footsteps leaving oases where none existed. A mother hums to her child, a tune so old that even the words have melted into melody. It is beautiful, this final night, this soft surrender to time. The people of Nubia have built pyramids, temples, and songs. But tonight they build only silence, a silence filled with love. The drums slow further now. Between each beat, the air thickens with memory. A single flame flutters out, then another, and another. The wind sighs through the courtyards, carrying with it the scent of burning oil and sweet grass. The queens rise together, their shadows long upon the walls. One turns toward the river, and for a brief moment, you can see her raise her hand to the desert star, as though to say goodbye, or perhaps thank you. The music ends not with a note, but with silence. A silence so deep you can feel it in your spine. The torches burn lower, the clay lamps dim, and the sky becomes an ocean of violet and silver. Breathe once more. In, feel the warmth of the fading fire. Out, let your body sink into calm. Far downstream, the Nile glimmers faintly under moonlight. The wind hums a final rhythm against the temple doors, a soft percussion that only the stones can hear. And then, nothing moves. Only the stars remain, keeping watch over a kingdom that has chosen peace. Night has folded completely over Nubia. The air no longer carries the scent of fire or honey. Only the wind remains, soft, endless, unhurried. It moves across the dunes like a great quiet sea. The city of Meroe sleeps. Its lamps are gone, its drums silent, Moonlight drifts through broken gates, touching the stones with silver fingers. Every wall, every step, seems to breathe in rhythm with the wind. Breathe with it now. Inhale slowly, the air cool against your skin. Exhale. Let it dissolve into the hush of sand and stars. Your breath belongs to this night. The people have left. Some followed the river north, seeking the greener lands of Egypt. Others turned south, toward the forests where rain still falls. But many simply stayed, their houses empty, but not forgotten. Their laughter echoing faintly in the moonlight, like a lullaby half remembered. Time has softened everything. The temples lean but do not break. The statues wear veils of dust. The pyramids stand small yet certain, their edges rounded by centuries of wind. No noise, no pain, only the long exhale of the earth. Let your body follow that stillness. Feel your chest expand with the night air, then release it slowly, as though you are breathing for the ruins themselves. There's no rush to sleep here. Sleep, like history, arrives on its own. The wind hums over the dunes, its tone low and tender. Sometimes it sounds like water, sometimes like voices carried too far to understand. The Nubians believed that the spirits of their ancestors rode this very wind, not as ghosts, but as memories that never learned how to die. If you listen closely, you may hear them now. The murmur of the river's song, the soft rustle of papyrus leaves, the faint echo of a drum from a festival long vanished. They are not calling you to wake. They are reminding you to rest. The desert star still hangs above, steady as ever. It looks down upon a kingdom turned to sand, and finds beauty still. Every grain below it once belonged to something living. Every whisper of wind carries the scent of a vanished hearth. Nothing is truly gone, only quieter. Now imagine walking through the dunes at midnight. The sand shifts beneath your feet like liquid silk. The air moves through your hair, soft, cool, infinite. In the distance, the outlines of pyramids shimmer. Not solid, not ghostly, but something in between. You stop and rest your hands upon the stone. It is cold at first, then warms slowly under your touch. You can almost feel the heartbeat of the world inside it. Steady, slow, ancient. Breathe in. The air enters your lungs, dry and clean as moonlight. Breathe out. The sound fades into the vastness around you, as though the desert itself were listening. The Nubian priests once said, "When the river sleeps, the sand will remember." And so it has. Every ripple, every curve, is a memory caught in motion. Each night the dunes shift a little, erasing and rewriting the past, like pages turned by invisible hands. The clay lamp still burns in your mind, its flame now no larger than a sigh. It trembles, but never dies. It belongs not to a temple or a queen anymore, but to the silence itself. Its light moves gently across the dunes, guiding no one, needing no purpose. The world is breathing slower now. Even the stars seem to pause between their twinkle. You can feel the weight of sleep settling over the land. Soft, silver, final. Inhale once more, the cool wind tracing down your back. Exhale, your thoughts scattering like sand into the dark. The desert hums, the ruins rest, and somewhere, beneath the eternal watch of the desert star, the Nile still dreams, a thin ribbon of memory winding through time. Let your body drift with it. Let your heart quiet itself. The sea of sand stretches forever, but it is not empty. It is full of everything that was ever loved. Now the whisper fades to almost nothing. Just wind. Just breath. Just the sound of peace. Above the desert, the sky is endless. It no longer feels like air. It feels like water made of light. Millions of stars drift there, quiet and patient, their reflections trembling on the slow-moving Nile far below. You can still see the desert star, brighter than all the others, the last keeper of the Nubian sky. It has watched every sunrise, every river flood, every breath of every queen. Now it watches only peace. Breathe in. Let the starlight fill your lungs. Breathe out. Feel your body grow lighter, as if gravity itself has decided to rest. The ruins of Meroe no longer stand apart from the earth. They have become part of it. Stone folded into sand. Sand folded into time. Yet when the wind passes over, it still hums with memory. Each grain carries a story. Each echo a name. Somewhere beneath the dunes lies a shard of gold from a forgotten bracelet, a fragment of clay inscribed with a queen's prayer, a bead of glass once sewn into a robe. Tiny things, but together they are constellations of memory, as real as the stars above. The Nubians believed that the heavens mirrored the world below. When a soul left the body, it rose like a spark, joining the great river of stars that flows across the night. To them, death was not an ending. It was only the turning of light. From the lamp to the sky. Pause. Look upward in your mind. See the stars moving slowly. Not falling, not racing, just gliding. They are thoughts of the universe, breathing as you breathe. In, starlight drifts through you. Out, the noise of the day fades away. You are floating now, somewhere between sky and river, between breath and dream. There are no kings or queens here, no temples or wars, only the gentle pulse of existence. Even the clay lamp, burning still within the mind's dark corner, has grown small enough to become a star of its own. Listen closely. You may hear it flicker, a single note in the vast choir of silence. That is history, singing itself to sleep. When the Nubians spoke of eternity, they did not imagine walls or crowns. They imagined this: a place where every sound becomes wind, every life becomes light, and every end becomes another beginning. You can feel that truth settling in your chest. It is warm, steady, kind. It tells you that nothing truly disappears. It only changes rhythm. A heartbeat becomes an echo. An echo becomes a star. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Your body remembers the rhythm of the Nile. Slow rise, slow fall. Your mind drifts with the constellations. Weightless, timeless. In the far distance, a new dawn waits. But it does not hurry. The universe moves at the pace of peace. You are safe inside that pace. Imagine now the desert star descending, its light touching your eyelids. You can almost hear it whisper. Everything that was, still is. That whisper travels through you, settling like soft sand over quiet water. The wind, the river, the stars, all breathe together. And you breathe with them. No fear, no distance, only belonging. Breathe in. The warmth of time itself. Breathe out. The long sigh of the cosmos. Your pulse slows. Your mind opens like the desert under moonlight. All that remains is silence, alive, shimmering, eternal. The desert is still. Even the wind has grown tired of wandering. It settles upon the dunes like a blanket, and the sand cools beneath the pale shimmer of moonlight. Far below that quiet sky, the Nile glows faintly, a thin ribbon of silver winding through the dark. It no longer carries boats, no longer sings of harvest or festival. Yet it moves, gently, endlessly, like breath through a sleeping chest. In this silence, the Nubian Kingdom rests. Its cities are folded into earth, its walls into sand, its voices into memory. Nothing stirs, only the sound of time breathing. Breathe with it now. Inhale slowly, your eyelids soft, your vision dimming. Exhale completely, letting your jaw unclench, your face loosen, your mind drift. You're crossing the same threshold the empires crossed, from motion into stillness, from sound into sleep. The clay lamp burns one last time. Its flame is so small it could vanish in a sigh. But it doesn't. It waits, flickering beside the river, just as it did on the first night, when Nubia was new and the stars were young. The same fire that once lit the halls of queens now glows for no one, and yet for everyone who ever was. The lamp trembles, casting shadows across the sand that look like waves. Each ripple moves slower than the one before, until even movement itself seems to fade. And above it, the desert star shines again, ancient, unwavering, eternal. The two lights meet across the distance, one of earth, one of heaven. The flame reflects in the starlight. The starlight warms the flame. They do not speak. They simply exist, together, as they have since the beginning. The Nubians believed that when the last lamp went out, its light did not die. It rose into the night sky, joining the endless river of stars. Every kingdom, they said, must one day surrender its light to the heavens. Perhaps that moment is now. You can almost feel the air holding its breath. The flame flutters once, twice, then steadies. A quiet refusal to vanish. Let that steadiness fill you. The calm before surrender. The peace before sleep. There is nothing to do. Nothing to fix or remember. The past is resting. And so can you. The wind rises for the briefest time. A single sigh across the dunes. It carries the faint scent of clay and ash, and the memory of drums that once beat in celebration. The sand shivers. The river sighs. And the clay lamp gives one final glow. Breathe in. The light enters your eyes, soft, golden, weightless. Breathe out. It drifts behind your eyelids, settling there. becoming part of your dreams. The desert star lowers itself toward the horizon. It does not fall. It kneels, as though to rest beside the lamp it has watched for ages. Their lights touch once more, a final meeting between sky and earth. And in that meeting, everything becomes quiet. The dunes stop moving. The river stops whispering. The night, the wind, the stars, all hold still. It is not death, not even an ending. It is sleep, the great, unbroken sleep of empires. Your eyes grow heavier now. Your jaw softens. Your breath slows. Let go. The story will remember itself. The lamp will guard your dreams. The star will keep its watch. The flame dims. The starlight lingers. And between them, a single thought drifts like a feather across eternity. All that rises must one day rest. Breathe one last time with the kingdom. In, the warmth of memory. Out, the coolness of peace. The clay lamp fades into the dark. The desert star ascends again. And the world, wrapped in silence, falls asleep. The night has grown deep, and the sand no longer remembers the sound of footsteps. Only the wind remains, gentle, slow, and full of stories. Somewhere by the river's edge, the clay lamp still glows. Its flame is barely there now, a trembling ember, breathing with the rhythm of your own chest. Each flicker is a heartbeat. Each heartbeat a memory. Above, the desert star shines, steady, tender, infinite. It has watched over every breath you've taken tonight, and now it begins to lower, as though leaning close to whisper. It's time. Breathe in. Let that light fill you. Breathe out. Let it carry you somewhere calm, somewhere older than thought. The river sleeps. The temples rest beneath soft dunes. The voices of queens and kings are now only wind, moving through a world that no longer needs to speak. In this silence, there is no distance between the lamp and the star, between earth and sky, between waking and dreaming. All things meet here, where history exhales and time forgets to move. You may feel your breath slow, your eyes heavy. That is how the Nile must have felt at the end of the day, when the last ripple faded, and even the water began to dream. The clay lamp flickers once, as if bowing to the desert star. The two lights blur together, one falling, one rising, until you cannot tell which belongs to heaven and which to the earth. The air cools, the stars grow softer, and the story closes its eyes. Now, let yours do the same. Let the light fade behind them. Let the night take you gently, like a river carrying its reflection home. You do not need to sleep, the whisper says, for sleep is already here. The flame sighs. The star lingers, and the kingdom of Nubia, like all things once bright and human, drifts quietly into peace.